Welcome back to the Customer Success Festival APAC. I hope you enjoyed the event so far. Before we dive into the next session, again, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all partners and speakers. We cannot do this without you. If you really like the content, please subscribe to our CSC membership, where you can get loads of templates, framework, on-demand videos, and be able to rewatch all the presentation sessions for this event. So head over to customsuccesscollective.com and treat yourself there. So sit back, and here's the next session.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Welcome back to the Customer Success Festival APAC Day 2. We have a very, very special speakers here with us now. Mr. Guru, the VP of Customer Success Platform from PayPal. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing really well, Ryan. Thank you. Thank you very much to you, Ryan, specifically, as well as the entire team at the Customer Success Collective for this wonderful opportunity that you've provided me.
No worries. It is our honor and pleasure. And then, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for Mr. Guru and his session, Empathy at Scale. Please take it from here.
Thank you very much, Ryan. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you're joining us from. First of all, I hope all of you are doing well. I hope all of you are staying safe. You and your families are happy and healthy during these interesting times for the world that seem to be stretching for way too long. So, as we look at a 2022 that is hopefully much better for the world than 2020 and 2021 have been, I want to talk about something that's very dear to my heart. I am privileged in my role to lead the customer success platform at PayPal. And in that role, I serve many colleagues around the world who are building technology to exactly do what the slide says, essentially deliver empathy at scale. And as you can see, it is a conundrum. And I'll explain to you why this is such a conundrum. While empathy at scale is a beautiful tagline, it's a difficult problem to solve, because customer success, ensuring that your customers succeed at using the products that you build and the services that you provide, is a problem that is very, very worthy of a lot of attention, but at the same time, quite a difficult one. And I'll talk to you about how we are doing it at PayPal. So a little bit about what we do at PayPal. So PayPal is, to a lot of people, a button on a website. So when they think about PayPal, they think about just, hey, that's that yellow button that says pay with PayPal. We are actually much more than that. So our presence as a financial services fintech behemoth in the world extends across various sectors: in-store, contextual commerce, e-commerce, loyalty, you name it. When it comes to online payments and the conduct of commerce on online properties, PayPal has a very, very large presence across various aspects of this and across the world. And again, people usually think of PayPal as, hey, yeah, pay with PayPal. That's it, right? We actually are a conglomeration of multiple brands that we have acquired, great companies that we have brought into our family as time has gone on. And you see a few of those names here: Braintree, Venmo, which is, of course, very popular among young people in the US, especially. There's Zettle, which is an in-store solution. And we've got Honey for loyalty, as well as Zoom for international remittances. So PayPal as a company has a lot of different things that we do. Payments is just one part of it. And I'm just building up all this context because I want to show you the scale of the problem in terms of customer success that we have. Take a look at the scale at which we operate. Right, we are in over 200 markets around the world, and what this means is that at the pace at which we have grown over the last few years, we have over 400 million customers that we serve. So 371 million of those are consumers, they are shoppers, and 32 million of them are merchants, they are sellers. In any average day, we do over 44 million transactions. And the sheer size of our product portfolio means that we do many things. We not only process person to person payments, we also do in store, online, offline, in on web properties, mobile, checkout, loyalty. There are a bunch of different experiences that our customers are consuming from us, and that means that there is a possibility that some of them will be disappointed by some of the experiences because of a variety of different factors. It could be bugs in the product, it could be a network outage issue that's happening that caused a significant downstream impact somewhere else. It could be many things. But which means that we have to serve all of these customers whenever they have issues with us. And that support that we do, we actually do it in over 20 languages and counting. And that's keeping pace with the kind of global footprint that we have as a company. So what drives us in this area, right? Why is customer success so important? I'd say that it all starts from being a customer obsessed company. We have the privilege to serve millions of customers around the world, and what we want to do is to be worthy of the trust of over 1 billion customers on a daily basis as we look at our own future as a company. Our CEO, Dan Schulman, often says that our goal is to have 1 billion daily active users. And in order for 1 billion people to trust us on a daily basis, it means that we have to definitely give them delightful experiences whenever somebody wants to interact with PayPal. And that in today's context means that we have to drive personalization at a scale that was hitherto unseen. Think about your best experiences using any product, right? In the physical world, when you go into a shop and let's say the person behind the register recognizes you, remembers you from previous interactions, remembers your preferences. And if you go to a restaurant, the waiter actually comes and says, Mrs. So and so, Miss So and so, Mr. So and so, here is your favorite dish, and we've actually made it better. Would you like to try it? There's a certain element of surprise. There's a certain element of delight in that because you feel valued. You feel like you really matter. And that personalization, driving it at scale in a customer success context, is actually a pretty hard problem. It's a meaningful problem. It's a wonderful problem to solve. At the end of the day, through our platforms that my team builds, and I'm happy to serve my team in my capacity, we want to be able to empower, we want to be able to enable, we want to excite our customer support teams, because if they are excited to serve the customers, the delight comes automatically into the customer experience. Actually, your best experiences as a customer are not when everything goes well. That's, of course, very delightful and you're going to talk about it. But the ones that are going to be memorable are the ones where you had a problem, but you were treated with such empathy and such respect that you went back feeling, wow, I don't want to ever stop using this company's products because I know they've got my back. Even when things go wrong, they're going to be there to help me. So, how do we do this, right? Here is the conundrum that I talked about in my title slide. It's clear that delivering empathy is the right thing to do. It's clear that that is what we need to do in order to win the trust of our customers. Now, in order to do that, we also have to recognize that being a business means that you need to be able to do things efficiently. Within customer support, it's a well-known problem for a lot of people. If a customer calls you on the phone, there are a lot of different costs that you have to contend with. The telecom costs of actually getting that customer connected to you, the infrastructure cost of maintaining all this infrastructure to connect customers to your customer support agent, the training cost to get your customer support agents trained, the cost of actually being on the call and serving the customer, the cost of repeating a contact if you're not able to solve the problem completely. All of this adds up. In a domain like ours, in payments, we are not getting the entire transaction value as profits that we earn, right? It is a small slice of that, which is a fee for delivering the service of payments. Within that, if we generate a lot of customer contact, it becomes a very inefficient business and the business model just breaks down. But on the flip side, you cannot avoid treating customers with empathy because it's the right thing to do. You want your customers to be delighted and want them to be loyal. You want them to trust you. So how can we deliver this empathy that generates that kind of trust? But at the same time, how can you do it in an efficient way at scale, at the scale that we are talking about, 1 billion people using us on a daily basis? How do we do it, right? So that's the conundrum. So what we have done essentially is, let me walk you through an experience that is typical, right? So in today's digital world, most often there are multiple ways for you to reach a customer support team. You go to the website of any company. PayPal is not any different. You see a variety of pages where you can go search for your own help. You can go search FAQs where you might find a solution that works for you. You could choose to use a bot that will help you with some of the basic problems and hopefully get you the help that you need without too much trouble. You might be able to leave an email kind of message to a customer support agent who will respond back to you. You might be able to do a live chat, or you might also be able to pick up the phone and call a customer support agent where you can get that issue resolved. Now, in a lot of places, what happens is you go into a help experience. You start typing and you say, hey, I've got an issue with my payments, and you get a bunch of articles. You're not really happy with it. You decide that you're going to interact with the bot. Again, the bot comes on and says, how can I help you today? You type it in. No, not really helping. And then you finally hit a human agent, and if that human agent again says, how can I help you, what's going on in your head? You're already thinking, like, why am I being asked this question over and over again? I already said that at least 3 times by now. So the fact that a customer switches from one channel to the other as they seek help is not strange. It is natural behavior. The fact that we are not able to keep track of the utterances that they are constantly sharing as they go from one channel to the other, that is strange if we can't keep track of it. So we went to an omni-channel customer success platform where, though a customer may be interacting with us on multiple channels, the harnessing of that information that is generated with all this customer contact is shared equally between all channels, so that you can seamlessly go from one channel to the other with no loss of information. This is extremely customer centric, right? You're going to be thinking about the customer first. At the same time, when your agent picks up and a human agent is actually starting to interact, it's important to empower them with all the context of all these other interactions that have happened on other channels, so that the agent can probably say, oh, I see that you've already searched and you've interacted with the bot, and I have all the history from your account already at my disposal. Give me a second and I'll tell you what is going wrong and how to fix it, right? So we want to be able to determine the customer's intent in every little touch point. The utterances that are explicit as well as implicit, we want to gain all the insights from them, and we want to, as far as possible, give them self-service capabilities that will help them solve the problem in the shortest period of time. For a customer, it's not important that, for them, what they want is quick resolution. They want effective resolution. They want comprehensive resolution. If a bot can give that to them, why not? If chatting live with an agent can give that to them on a messaging interface, why not? If they have to speak to an agent by picking up the phone and calling them, then they want that to be fast as well. So we want self-service to be the default approach because that gives the fastest resolution. And when that's not possible, we want to power an engagement experience with the customer support agent, where all of the history of your interactions are available to the agent, where they're able to give you an empathetic experience that will truly delight the customer, and at the same time will make the customer support agent's job also delightful, because it's not important for us only to satisfy our customer. We want our employees to also be happy, and that's one of the reasons why we're paying attention to all of this in our centralized omni-channel customer success platform. In order to power this, there's obviously a huge layer of technology. We have foundational platforms, like, for example, customer journey that the slide talks about at the very bottom. Customer journey is a platform where we stitch together all the different data points where the customer has interacted with PayPal broadly across all of our properties, where they have done, what they have done, where they might have faced some difficulty, etc. And having all of this available to our front-end experiences, either in the self-service realm or in the agent-assisted realm, helps us deliver empathy. Our decisioning platform, we have a customer service decisioning platform which is able to take multiple streams of data, assess which path we should take, the best next action from a customer's perspective, and go down that path. That's one more platform that we have. And then, of course, in today's world where life is increasingly digital, data is at the heart of every experience that you can provide that generates delight and empathy for the customer. And we have a specialized data management platform through which we build this. So what do we need to do to have empathy in action? First, we need to predict and prevent contact. Even before a customer is able to detect that there may be a problem, if PayPal, as PayPal, if we can predict it and we can prevent it, wonderful. They don't even have a problem. When they reach out to us, the first port of call should be self-help, because it's the fastest help. If we can offer the best help in self-help and get them sorted ASAP, that's the best experience for the customer. And of course, in all of this, there is an element that cannot be denied. AI, machine intelligence in today's realm, today's world is inevitable. And for us, it's not just about AI. We feel that the right combination of having human beings augment the capabilities of AI is the best way to do things. All right. So here is where conversational AI comes in. And this is a huge part of the vocabulary in today's customer success realm, right? Conversational AI. And why is this so important? So if you take a look at PayPal's problem that we have today with the scale at which we operate, on an average, we see about 60 million phone contacts a year, voice contacts. If you then look at all the different ways in which customers reach out to us for help, whether it's messaging, or if they even go to the help center and search for an article, or if they interact with our bot, various other ways in which they're able to participate in our community discussions to see if they can find the help that they need. If you aggregate all of this, that's close to 1 billion interactions seeking help from PayPal. And that is in a world where we have 400 million customers. And we have a huge workforce that is filled with customer support agents who are actually helping our customers. Now, if you expand this to 1 billion daily active users, that is, we are talking about contact that could increase proportionally. And if contact increases proportionally, do we want to increase our headcount in customer support proportionally? Not likely, because A, it's not operationally efficient. B, we would soon be a customer service company, not a payments company, if we hired that many people to just do customer support. The right way to do this is, as our business scales, our underlying technology should take over and help us with the scale without having to just invest constantly in an operational problem that is going to keep growing bigger and bigger, right? So technology should be to the rescue. And in this, especially in customer success, it's all about speaking to the customer, listening to the customer, understanding the customer, figuring out the hidden intent in these interactions. And that's where conversational AI is such a huge player in this. That's the reason why you hear conversational AI as a term used heavily across the industry. So this is somewhat of an architectural diagram for you. Essentially, there are various ways in which customers can reach us: through the internet, through web and mobile channels. They can come in through social messaging, and then they can come in through a messaging UI directly as well, or they can come in through voice. They can pick up the phone and call us. In all of these realms, the first port of call is going to be an automated agent, which is empowered with conversational AI. The idea is to present as human an interface as possible, a human interface which is doesn't just sound human, but is actually able to understand like a human, is able to take every customer utterance and pick out the minute details that will allow us to figure out what to do next, how to guide the conversation next. And all of these interactions have to be stored in a centralized omni-channel platform, because as the customer goes from one channel to the next channel, we don't want to lose this context. So the history has to be stored. The intent classification and detection has to be standard across all these channels. The natural language understanding platform that we build should not be built channel by channel. It should be the same one for all the channels. And there should be an orchestration of the dialogue that happens between the customer and all these channels that is as human like as possible. And in all of this, it goes without saying that AI plays a massive role behind all of this. So, what is the best customer service? I mean, yeah, I think this slide calls it out rather brutally by saying when customers don't need to call you. But I think it's a little more than that, right? The best customer service is when your products are so simple that customers don't need any help using them. I would love to say that, we can build products like that constantly, no matter what the complexity. Sometimes it's not possible. We have, for example, at PayPal, the breadth of product portfolio that makes it inherently complex. And sometimes customers do need our help. But can we find a way to use the data that we have from all the customer contact that we are getting to constantly keep that as our North Star? How do we make our product so good that nobody needs to call us? That's the best customer service, in my opinion. In order to provide customer service that and help customers succeed, it's important for us to have the best product management practices in place. So in our company, our product managers constantly listen to customer service calls. They either do side-by-side sessions with agents where they're listening in and figuring out what the customer is asking, figure out where the customer has some hidden things that they're saying in what they say, which is not explicit. How can we detect all of this automatically when we finally build these into our conversational experiences? And the feedback loop between our team and the core product team at PayPal is extremely important, because as we move forward as a company, what we want to do is to build customer contact propensity as a key measure for any feature that gets built upstream in the product itself. When we build our products, we should be thinking already, not just on how the customers are going to use this, also what we are going to do if the customer faces a problem using it, and how can we prevent that problem from happening. Very rarely do we have products built that way historically, but now across the industry, especially at PayPal, this is becoming a part of our culture to build customer centric products that are already thinking ahead on what do we do if a customer faces a problem? How do we make this easy to service? How do we make this product so easy that customer support agents will also be able to intuitively provide the kind of service that is needed? And beyond all of that, how can we prevent all of this from happening? How can we prevent customer contact from happening? End of the day, we also want to make sure that customers don't call repeatedly for the same problem. Once we detect a problem, we need to be able to solve it in a way that makes it solved for everybody, right? I apologize for some of the slide issues I'm having, but and I will end with a few slides on customer experience. I think it's important for us, for a customer to succeed, we shouldn't be forcing them into experiences that they don't want. Frequently, as engineers, we have a different idea of what constitutes a great customer experience. We get excited by technology for technology's sake. And sometimes that excitement translates into products that an engineer would find definitely intuitive, but a normal human being will say, my God, what the hell is this? Do I need a degree to use this product? So I think the first thing that we need to do is have a little bit of humility and say, we are not usually the best judges. So there is a certain amount of discovery, a certain amount of acceptance that we don't have all the answers as engineers that we need to have, and product managers that we need to have, that leads us down the path of discovery, questioning, curiosity, that allows us to get the best customer experiences in front of our customers. So don't put customers' experiences in front of customers that they don't want, right? Now, there's a tendency to use AI for everything. You've got a massive hammer, everything starts looking like a nail. I think the best AI experiences are the ones that don't creep customers out, right? I think there are times when we look at experiences that are around us today and say, oh my God, how the hell did they know that? Oh geez, this particular aspect of digital experience seems to know me better than I know myself. There's a sense of unease that comes from feeling like somebody is watching you. all the time, right? I think that's not a good experience in my mind. And the best experience is where customers don't even see AI at work. It feels natural. It feels just human like. It feels normal, right? That's the best kind of AI experience. So we need to keep that in mind in our excitement to use AI, in our excitement to use data insights and analytics and data science. We shouldn't get carried away into a zone where we are making our customers uncomfortable. So AI experiences that are normal, natural, and feel very natural are the best experiences. Of course, goes without saying that data is the new oil, the new gold. Any number of these similes don't really work, because unlike gold or oil, which are definitely exhaustible and finite in their quantity, data is infinite. It just keeps on growing, right? And the best customer success platforms that I see today are the ones that are able to harness data as the essential superpower, that through which they can power intelligent insights about the customer and deliver the kind of empathy at scale that I'm talking about. There are a lot of other things to think about, right? In today's world where everything is human experience is becoming increasingly digital, there are grave concerns around privacy, anonymization, uh, the aspect of consent for the data that is being used, the aspect of explainability around decisions that we take, either positively or negatively on our customers, on our platforms. It's a huge responsibility, and at PayPal we take it extremely seriously. For example, the data that we collect on our customers as they interact with our platforms, never shared with anybody. It is something that we hold as a sacrosanct responsibility. We use it only to power our experiences on our platform, and we never use it in any other way, and we don't sell it to anybody, we don't share it with anybody else. So data privacy is a huge aspect, and we are a very ethical, values driven company, and explainability of all of our AI is also an important one. Of course, there are significant technology challenges when it comes to explainability, especially with self-learning models, reinforcement learning models, deep learning models, neural networks. Building explainability as a core part of our infrastructure, that's a huge area of focus at PayPal for us. It's about, end of the day, it's about doing the right thing for your customers, right? It's always the right time to do the right thing. And when you do the right thing for your customers, the right things happen to you as a company as well. Customers succeed, your companies succeed. So empathy at scale essentially results in happy customers, and a happy customer is the right kind of customer to have, and that's the customer that's going to make your company succeed. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a great pleasure and a privilege. Thank you very much for the opportunity. And back to you, Ryan, for any questions that the audience might have.
It was a really, really insightful presentation. I think like throughout this 2 day festival, it is the first sort of in-depth talk when it comes to how we can utilize technology in the customer success field. And then there were lots of things that that people can learn here. That being said, we got Ellen asking like a really relevant question, like, is there a conversational AI that is good to start to engage with if Ellen's company has not started using that sort of AI platform or service before? Do you have some sort of recommendations?
So yeah, I think that's a very good question, and we've been dealing with conversational AI for a long time now, and uh, end of the day, our choice when it comes to our decisions around conversational AI was a strategic one for us, right? And in any company, PayPal included, there are technologies that we are going to build in house, and there are technologies that we are going to partner with other people to build, because there's always there's this conflict between what is core to your company, what is context that is important for your company to be in, and then there's commodity that is frankly not worth your company's time to build all the time, because you need to focus on your core products. So even in this realm, that is similar for us. There are areas where we are investing heavily in natural language understanding, for example, because understanding the domain of payments, that's something that PayPal does better than anybody else. So when a customer utters something in that is relevant to the payments domain, we fancy that we are going to be pretty damn good at detecting that intent better than anybody else. But when it comes to things like translation, when it comes to things like just the natural language understanding of human conversation, detecting humor versus sarcasm versus serious tone, etc., that's not our bread and butter, and never will be our bread and butter, right? Like, that's not something that we are going to invest in. So it's a partnership. We have some elements of our conversational AI that we build ourselves. In our case, Google is a very key partner for us, and including our journey to the public cloud is in partnership with Google. So even on conversational AI, we partner very significantly with Google's Dialogflow in order to get these conversational AI experiences to our customers.
Thank you, Guru, for sharing that. We have got some more questions for you coming up from the public chat here, if you don't mind. We have Lynn here wondering, how do PayPal arm their CSMs with questions around security compliance of their data? That's a good one.
Yeah, so that's a very good question, and it's a fact that I'm very proud of. In fact, right, like it all starts with culture, to be honest, right? It's not even just a technology problem. The way you treat your customers' data, there are multiple different companies in the world that have gotten into serious trouble because of their attitude towards their customers' data, right? In our case, I think it's a cultural value for us, honestly, that we wear on our sleeve, that customers' data is private, it is sacrosanct, and anything that we do with it requires consent from the users. Secondly, we put our employees through many trainings to make sure that the different classifications of data, whether it's a class 1, class 2, what can be stored where, what can be transferred, what can be inside a database, who has access to which data, all of this is extremely tightly controlled, even inside PayPal. Forget about outside, right? Even inside. So so that's that's the bottom line. Essentially, it's a culture issue. We treat customers as special, and that their data is their data, and that we have no right over it other than the rights that our customers give us, and that right is zealously guarded, and it's a responsibility that we take very seriously. But beyond that, of course, it's all around technology, right? When it comes to compliance, compliance is a serious business. There are 200 plus markets that we operate in, and each of these markets has their own regulation, and these regulations are formed by governments who have a responsibility towards their citizens. It's we have no skin in the game other than to respect it, right? We respect all of these regulations, and we know that in each of these jurisdictions they are important for a reason, because they are there to protect their citizens. So we've built a compliance platform that scales across the world. We have not taken an approach of building one for every jurisdiction. Instead, in order to scale as a company, we have built a global compliance platform. One of my wonderful colleagues, Gurbaksh Singh, leads that. And the idea is to accommodate various regulatory aspects across the world wherever the needs may arise, without it becoming a custom build every time we have to go and do something. So it's very heavily configuration driven. A lot of the work that we do at PayPal, because of the scale at which we operate, config driven is a technology, I would say, prerogative. We need to make most of our systems config driven so that we can easily change and build out customizations. And security, I'd say that PayPal is probably one of the most attacked companies in the world, in terms of hackers constantly trying to attack us, because we are a financial services behemoth. We move mountains of money, over $1 trillion in total payment volume every year. And for a hacker, that's a large pool of money to try and attack. But guess what? We are one of the hardest companies to break into, because security is such an important aspect of what we do and why we are here in business. Because while most people think about PayPal as a payments company, I often like to say that we are actually a trust company. Without trust between customers and us, we would have no business at all, right? Because we are in the business of convincing people to buy and sell across the world with people that they don't know, and people who are thousands or tens of thousands of miles away. And for us to be able to convince people to do that on our platform means that people have to trust us. And without security, there's no trust. So for us, trust is an important part of the puzzle.
That's so true. What a great answer. Thank you, Guru. I hope that answered your question, Lane. We got a couple more here. We got some long ones here in the chat. Let's start with the shorter ones, if that's all right. Henny here is wondering, do CSMs need to be technically sound with the product, or let's say the technical side of things?
So I feel that, CSMs, like any other role, right? The more you know, the better it is, right? I think there is never a time when I'm going to tell somebody, actually, you don't need to know so much, know less. That's better. I don't think I've ever said that to anybody, right? Don't learn as much. It'll be good for you. No, actually, knowing more is good. Information is power. So, as a customer success manager, you're in the business of answering customer questions. And some customers are going to be very detail oriented. They're going to ask you more and more and more, right? Let me take an analogy that is probably more easy for everybody to relate to on the call. All of you probably invest in financial products. You all work with banks. And let's say a banker reaches out to you to ask you to invest in a product. And let's say it's a mutual fund, or it could be a debt fund, or something else, right? Some other instrument. If you're a person who's careful with money, you're not just going to sign a check and give it to them. You're going to ask them questions. Hey, how does this make money? How does this make money for you? What is the percentage yield across the year? What happens if the market goes down? What happens in the case the Federal Reserve raises interest rates? What if the housing market crashes? What impact will it have? These are all valid questions to ask. Now, imagine on the other side, if your relationship manager or whoever was trying to sell this to you said, oh, that's a little hard for me. I just know how to sell this. And, there's a finance team behind who have MBAs to do this. And I don't really know. What would your level of confidence be to actually go ahead with the investment? On the other hand, if that person said, no, I'm going to tell you, you know what? I may not be able to give you the nitty-gritty details of every element of this, but broadly, here is how it works. Here is how the systems behind work, right? You're going to be very impressed, and you're going to trust that person more. The next time you are going to want to work with that person, because you will feel like, hey, this is a person who's curious enough to know even things that are not part of their job. So I think CSMs, you're in the same bucket. You need to do everything to help your customers succeed. And a big part of your customers succeeding is them trusting you. So the more you know, the better it is. If you have the time to become technically sound, why not? What's the harm in that? There's no harm at all. And there's only upside. In fact, when you find difficult questions, your customers are going to listen to you and say, oh my God, wow, you're really an expert. That's a sense of pride for you when you go home for the day, right? That your customer actually thinks highly of you. So I'd say, Hani, you should try to the best of your ability to go as far as you can to become as technically sound as you can.
What a great example. Thank you, Guru. That's a wonderful explanation. I love that a lot. Yes, we got Marie here commenting the same thing. Thank you, Marie, for your comments. We got two long ones here. I'm going to start with Alex. So in Alex's case, we are a small startup with around 15 customers and 3 CSMs using a high-touch model. So in future, they were aiming to manage around 15 accounts per CSM. What strategies can they employ to help with this?
So Alex, I think you're thinking about this at the very right time, right? So today you have a constraint problem. You have 3 CSMs, five customers per CSM, 15 customers in total. And, if everything goes well and the authorities in the heavens above smile on your company, and you have thousands of customers and millions of customers, why not, right? Like, it'll be awesome. I wish that for you and your company. I hope you guys succeed. But then the problem becomes a different one. If you have a very high touch model, then there is a reason why you want to have that high touch model. Now, as you scale, what are the reasons why you wanted the high touch model in the first place? You wanted to give customers reassurance. You wanted them to have a feeling of trust, of a feeling of being in a warm embrace where they know you've got their back. Now, if there is a way for you to use technology to give the same vibes to the customer without needing as many people, then that's the right way to go, right? So start with the habits that you're inculcating in your customer. With 3 CSMs managing 15 customers, I'm guessing that your customers are on a personal WhatsApp or WeChat conversation with each of these CSMs. Anytime they see a problem, they're just going to call the number directly, right? And you're going to habituate them to that. Pulling them out of that habit is going to be super difficult. So when you have 1,000 customers, what are you going to do? Your CSM's phone is going to be ringing off the hook, or you're going to be hiring so many CSMs that is going to become a huge operational cost for you. So I would say right from the get-go, try to invest as much as possible in self-service. Make self-service the default channel that customers get used to and actually derive a lot of satisfaction from. The more they're going to do that, the less likely they're going to be to even want to call. Because I don't know about all of you, but for me, right, I have way too many people to call in my life. I have way too many WhatsApp messages to read and respond to. I don't want that to be yet another responsibility when I reach out to, for example, an e-commerce company for customer support. If there's a way I can just log into their website, look at a couple of articles and solve the problem myself, actually I'm very happy doing it because that's fast and I don't need to take the emotional overhead of interacting with another person in that. I suspect more people around the world, especially as demographics around the world change and more young people enter the workforce, many of your customers are also going to be in the same mindset. Like, hey, don't force me to call somebody. Just give me some bot or something that can solve my problem super quick. So quick resolution is what they want, right? So start getting your customers used to this before it becomes a massive problem for you. The more they're going to get used to calling somebody and that becoming their default way, even when you introduce technology, they're going to first pick up the phone and call. Like your investment in technology is not going to be. So I'd say you're asking the right question right now. Invest heavily in self-service. Get into technologies like IVR, conversational AI, the intelligent automation, bots, etc., where you're able to take the power of your data, get the right insights, solve the customer's problems, have the right tagging in across all your data so that you can build feature stores that are constantly feeding and an ML and AI engine that'll make a digital version of a CSM for you as good as a human version of a CSM. So then you can project these qualities of empathy and trust and warmth without actually needing to hire thousands of CSMs as your customer base increases.
Thank you, Guru. Yes, wonderful advice again. We have time for one last question. I'll leave this to James, who put us a really long one here. Thank you for the presentation. It was very interesting. My question, we're about to release a new product, which I expect will double the intake of user communications and queries. However, we haven't yet planned to double our headcount to support the growth and believe our best chance of being proactive, keeping ahead, will be partnering with better technology. I think that's something aligned with what you've mentioned earlier. So what's your take on partnering with those partners who offer proactive bots, interactive FAQs? The hope is to significantly reduce the inquiries that make it to the customer success team. And thanks again, James.
So, James, I think the answer I provided to my previous question to Alex, I think you're already thinking in that direction, and I absolutely think you're headed in the right direction. So, in today's world, the number of technology partners that you can find to help you with this problem, like I'm pretty sure you can look out of your window and throw a stone and you'll hit somebody who promises you this. There are just so many companies that are doing voice bots and chat bots and customer service solutions across the world. So the problem is actually a problem of plenty. Like, how do you choose the right partner for you, right? Especially if you are not looking at building some of this in-house. Where if it's not your core competence, then why should you be building it in-house? I think what's going to be important for you is you guys know your product the best. So when you're selecting a partner, you need to have your skin in the game in terms of your product managers being deeply involved in this journey. Don't look at it as, oh my God, that's an IT capability. I'll just get a bunch of smart engineers from some company to come and tell me what to do, and I'll just do what they tell me to do. No, because they don't know your product as well as you know them. End of the day, why are customers going to call you? Because they have an intent. That intent is driven by a failure that they have encountered inside your product. And with you knowing your product best, you know all the different kinds of failures that can happen. So you are in the best possible position to guess what those intents are. And for each intent, what should be the dialogue flow? How are you going to treat them with respect and solve the problem? What help articles should you be surfacing? What help articles have you not written that you should be writing? All of these are in your hands. Some plain vanilla technology provider is not going to come and solve this problem for you. If you have all this set up, they're going to put the right technology hooks in place to make this a delightful experience. But the hard, heavy lifting, which is guessing what the customer might come to you with, being ready with answers for them when they come to you with these questions, and figuring out what is the right path for them to take through your product to solve this problem, that is something only you can invest in. So I'd say that don't be in this mistaken assumption that you just sign on the dotted line with the technology partner and they're going to solve all the problems for you. And you should never feel that way. You should always feel like it's your problem to solve, and you're just using a technology partner and they're using their help to solve the problem, but you are solving the problem. When you take that mindset, you're going to be in a much better place.
Thank you, Guru, and thanks everyone tuning in. Apologize if I didn't get a chance to pick your questions because we are running out of time here. Again, a massive thank you to Guru, who provided such a brilliant presentation and great answers to all these questions. Thank you again.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Deeply
Thank
appreciate
you. Sounds great. Thank you. And for everyone tuning in, I'll look forward to meeting all of you in our next sessions and the rest of the festival. All right. Take care, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice day. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye-bye.